So my name's Jeff Markham. I'm a bereaved father. My son died in the early 2000s. We had an original inquest that came and went. I remember very little about it, other than the fact we didn't get the correct outcome that we wanted. When I then sat down and thought about this, I thought the likelihood is that many other families will be going through this awful process at the most difficult time of their lives. Our son was seemingly fit and healthy. He lived at home, 21-year-old music student, doing what he loved. He had an old car that he used to run, and he was funding that by doing a part-time job in Sainsbury's, loading the shelves and so on. Even as a 21-year-old, he wasn't still really a morning person. And one evening we said to him, look, your car's due to be serviced in the morning. If you drop it off now, then that's one thing less to worry about in the morning. So he left the house at about 9:30 and said, I'll be back in half an hour, Dad. And that was the last time I heard him, last time I saw him alive. A couple of hours later, I was thinking of going to bed. I looked around the house to say goodnight to him and couldn't find him. And my initial thought was, oh, he's had some issue with that car. So I started walking around to where the garage was, and I found him. He was a mere 100 yards from the house, laying in the curb. And we realised now that he had delivered the car, and he was probably running home. And it was probably, I remember Sanjay saying to me, he'd had a period of inactivity, and then a sudden burst of energy in running home probably triggered the attack that killed him. I worked with a number of people actually. I mean, fortunately there was of course Alison in the office who was always a great support. I had the interaction with my own coroner who was on board and helpful, and my coroner's officer. And as she moved on, her actual office, West London Coroners, also came on board with the project. I also found there were about half a dozen other families that I worked with, and they all thought this was a good idea, and I got information from them which was very helpful, because I think there's no substitute for thinking about people's experiences that they've had and trying to build that into a program that will help others.